I am very nervous for this video. I hope I don't get cancelled. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're so welcome. My name is Anya and I run a small business called Anya Rafferty Art, in which I shine the light of God through Christian art. Today's video, this video was inspired by Kelsey Rodriguez's video 100 video ideas for artists, and one of those ideas was unpopular opinions / hot takes. So here we are. I'm giving my unpopular opinions about art, about anything to do with art and business. So this video is not to offend anybody, and it's not my intention to offend anybody's opinions, anybody's art. Like, all art is beautiful and it has a right to be painted and to be created and to be shown. This is just my personal opinion, so you can agree to disagree. Let me know if you want a part 2 on this as well, because I have certainly more unpopular opinions about the art world and the industry. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. My first unpopular opinion, I'm not really down about realistic art, like the super hyper realistic style. I'll tell you why. It sort of stems back to me studying art in school, and if you studied art A level, you maybe understand that, maybe if you're in my position, that the impressionist style, like a style with a bit more flair type thing that's not super realistic and it has a bit more of a edge to it, like the way mine did, it wasn't often celebrated in school. And you know, how do I put this gently without offending anybody? More super hyper realistic art that's drawn to a T was what got the good grades. Now, this really bothered me in school because I used art back then as a real creative outlet, often a bit too much. It just really bugs me that back then and even now, like the way the super hyper realistic art is what gets someone like an A or a B in school, and someone like me, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people in my position that have a different style of art, like that do stuff a bit more rough and a bit more of an edge and a bit more of a flair and something different to offer, that often isn't really celebrated. And that really annoys me, because you know, everybody has a right to create art and however they like it, no matter what skill set. Like, you just have to start somewhere, and like, you know, as I said in like a previous video, someone else's chapter 100 could be your chapter 1. Like, we're all in different stages and we just have to start somewhere, and sometimes when you do start, your art is going to look a bit crap, and that's okay. Like, just celebrate, like, you know, your progress, and like celebrate your own style. Like, it's really important to have your own unique style, as unique as God made you. So yeah, it really bugged me in school to the point where I actually spoke one time. There was a panel to the exam board of that particular subject in school, and I gave them a piece of my mind, let's just say, in regards to that sort of talk with the exam board about the art and how it's taught and all that stuff. I remember them saying something like, you know, art is so subjective, which is true. Like, everybody likes something different, and that's okay too. Like, we're all allowed to like what we like in terms of art, but at the same time, I think that like everybody should be at least given a chance to at least show what they can do, and to be nurtured in their own style, and just to really, you know, have that sense of individuality when it comes to art, because I think it should all look different. I don't think it should be a carbon copy of each one. Like, you know, you should put your own personal fingerprint on it, as it were. I hope this video doesn't offend anybody, and if it did, I am so sorry. That was not my intention. Everybody's art is different and everybody's opinion is different. These are just my opinions, so, you know, take it with a pinch of salt, and just, I'm sorry if it did offend you. It was not my intention. So yeah, just to get that out of the way, I do apologize if it did. It was just a really weird time in school, and yeah, like, studying art was just not it for me. Like, yes, I learned the basics of proportions and like all the stuff that you sort of have to learn as an artist, like anatomy and all that good stuff, but like, you know, there was just like a lot of, you know, this is the style that you have to achieve, and if you don't achieve this, you're not an artist, which I call Also too, in terms of the hyper-realistic art movement, I remember having a conversation with someone in my church, and he would be a creative like myself, and we had this conversation. Like, I remember there was a time near the end of my studying my A-level art that my teacher told me that my art was never good enough, and yeah, it was very hard to hear. It just didn't meet up to their standard, as it were. I remember him saying something really interesting. Like, I told him the whole story about the whole, you know, not being good enough, blah blah blah. And he said, so she basically told you that Picasso wasn't good? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, you know, there's artists like, say, Amadeo Modigliani, who like done portraits and had like the elongated neck, and like you're saying that like he wasn't good enough, like his like art didn't meet the standard of that time. And like Picasso as well, like, you know, every art is going to be different, and that's okay. Like Claude Monet, like in his water lilies, and like, you know, it's not like super hyper realistic, but it's showing off like, you know, the atmosphere. There's all different styles, and art is subjective, but like, you know, there's more than one way to do it. I'm not really down about the hyper realistic art movement, but you know, each of their own. Like I'm sure, you know, I'm sure if somebody else loves it, that's fine by you, you do you. But for me, not a fan. The next unpopular opinion I have is, I'm going to make a proper video about this, but YouTube seems to be the way to go for artists these days and to make a solid career. There was a time when I was really stuck on Instagram, and I started to search on YouTube about like Instagram strategy, all that stuff. And I came across a video from Kelsey Rodriguez, and this like really planted the seed of me to start my own YouTube channel. She talked about how Instagram just sucks for artists. Like the more she spoke about it and the more she talked about YouTube, and it just started to really make sense to me. It really like resonated with me, and I was like, wow, like Instagram isn't maybe the best platform for us these days. Like maybe some have found really good success, and that's fantastic, like good for them, but like, you know, there's some of us that are constantly grinding, as she says, to really just make art all the time, and for the content to only last like a day or two. And even like with all the features on Instagram and all the updates and the constant changes, like using reels, doing the carousels, doing your IGTV, and like you're putting in all this work and you're even paying for it, and like you're seeing no results. Yeah, like you're just not seeing that return of investment. So it sort of convinced me to start my own YouTube channel and to really build on my art career and to be a resource for the Christian artists. So yeah, I think YouTube is probably the way to go, maybe in the future, to build an art career and to maybe have multiple streams of income where an artist can maybe live off their art. So yeah, that's one of my other unpopular opinions. Instagram sucks sometimes. My next unpopular opinion sort of piggybacks off the first one, and that is that art... Take 3. So my next unpopular opinion sort of piggybacks off the first one in regards to, you know, the hyper-realistic movement in schools, and I think that art talent should be more nurtured in schools, because when I was growing up it was a constant competition, which is understandable. We're all trying to get into the art college and the one university in Northern Ireland where you can study art. Yes, there's a competition to get in there. You have to be the best of the best and the cream of the crop. There's just that constant comparison, like you should draw more like her, you should paint more like him, you should do this and follow this artist, but like not having like your own style and not having that nurtured in school from a young age. Because in my opinion, like, you know, that's where it starts as an artist, for me, is in school, because you know, you're getting nurtured and you're learning the ropes, and like you're getting your first taste of painting, and you know, you're constantly getting like shut down and like saying that you're not good enough. While I understand constructive criticism, like, you know, say like this isn't where it needs to be, but this is how you can make it better. Like that whole just constantly just criticizing, like, no. Personally, like, I'm not like being like a super sensitive like Gen Z type girl these days, but like, you know, you should give criticism but also tell them how to make it right. Like say like, okay, like your breath stinks, but here's some chewing gum. Do you know what I mean? I think art should be better nurtured in school, and just to have like for like a teacher to nurture someone's style and just to let them grow in that and to find their own uniqueness. Hope it changes. And I think my last unpopular opinion, I'll wrap it up here, is that there's just way too much comparison in the art world. Now, growing up in the art world, as I mentioned before, like in school there was just constant comparison. You were constantly just compared to other people all the time. And I think even coming into this industry as an adult, as a Christian and all that stuff, like there's just way too much comparison with everybody, and it's just like, just embrace your own style and embrace your own brand, because that is uniquely yours. And you know, you don't have to look like everybody else. Like everybody is different and everybody is going to have different art and it's going to look different, and that's okay. For me, like over the course of nearly 2 years now going on with this page, like I've really had to learn to not compare myself to other people in terms of art, in terms of business. Like someone may post a reel and that's them set up with like, you know, their business, making money and all that stuff, and then you look at yourself and you're like, well, I've been going at this for nearly 2 years and I'm not really seeing much return of investment, but that's okay. That's just different to my journey than what it is to theirs, and that's happy days for them. If they post one reel and then that's them, and that's fabulous, like congratulations. But like, you know, trying to compare yourself, trying to compare your art to other people, like we all have to start somewhere. We all have to be crap before we can get good, and just practice really does make perfect. We all have to start somewhere and we all have to learn, and we're all going to grow and change with our art, and that's okay. Like just allow the growth to happen and allow change, and allow your style to change, allow your subjects to change, make room for that change to grow, and don't compare yourself to the big professionals on like YouTube and Instagram, because they all have to start somewhere too, and that's okay. So yeah, so I think my point is we all have to start somewhere, and that's okay. Give yourself a bit of grace. Yeah, those are my unpopular / hot takes of the art industry. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you agree with any of these unpopular opinions, and if you don't, tell me why. Let's get the conversation going down in the comments below. So yeah, let me know also if you want a part 2 to this, if you want more of my unpopular opinions, because I will be happy to do that for you, not a problem. So yeah, that is going to do it here for me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to give a like and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to put on the bell to get all the notifications of when I upload. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye, God bless.